Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Parker. Parker finds its roots in England, originally a surname with occupational origins from the Old French parchier meaning park keeper. A parchier was a medieval official in charge of one of the many enclosed preserves or large hunting parks set aside by the king, a member of the nobility or a wealthy landowner. A parchier held a lofty position in society. The keeper of the park was an important and dignified trade. Parker is also one of the oldest recorded surnames to surface in England in the 11th century and one of the first established in America in the early 17th century. As a given name, Parker has been in general use for boys since at least the 19th century, 1800s, while for girls, the name has only been in noticeable circulation since 1999. Today Parker is a favorite baby boy's name in the United States and Canada. However, in America Parker is considered gender-neutral and, while it's not as popular for girls as it is for boys, more and more parents are naming their daughters Parker each year. Personality of the girl named Parker. Romance is the hallmark of the Six personality. They exude nurturing, loving, and caring energy. Sixes are in love with the idea of love in its idealized form, and with their magnetic personalities, they easily draw people toward them. Like the number 2 personality, they seek balance and harmony in their life and the world at large. They are conscientious and service-oriented, and a champion for the underdog. These personalities naturally attract money and are usually surrounded by lovely material objects, but their human relationships are always primary. They thrive in giving back to others rather than being motivated by their own desires. This is when they achieve great things. Sixes are natural teachers, ministers, and counselors. Popularity of the girl named Parker. Parker is a unisex name in America. Although it's quite a bit more popular for boys than for girls, parents are 5 times more likely to bestow the name on their sons than their daughters. For boys, the name has been in use for over 150 years, but it wasn't until the late 1990s that Parker really came into vogue. Although not yet obnoxiously trendy, Parker did manage to earn top 100 status on the masculine naming charts in 2009, which it's been able to maintain until today. For girls, the name only debuted in 1999 but continues to demonstrate forward momentum. Clearly, as Parker started to show promise for little boys, some American parents decided to snatch the name away for their daughters. Using unisex names for girls has been an ongoing trend in America in the past 20 years, so we expect to see Parker eventually surpass the popularity of her male counterpart sometime in the not-so-distant future. Parker is also a great choice for baby girls and boys of jazz-loving parents, in a nod to the great Charlie Parker, 1920 to 1955. Quick facts on Parker. Gender, girl. Origin, English. Number of syllables, 2. Ranking popularity, 267. Pronunciation, Parker. Simple meaning, park keeper or gamekeeper. Characteristics of Parker. Sensitive, loving, affectionate, community-minded, family-oriented, humanitarian, compassionate. Cultural references to the baby name, Parker. Popular songs on Parker. Parker's Band, a song by Boy Kill Boy, a song by Prince, explicit, a song by Playa, explicit, Ivy Parker, MS. Parker, The Ballad of Dorothy Parker, a song by Steely Dan. Famous people named Parker. Parker Stevenson, actor, Parker Posey, actress. Children of famous people named Parker. Rosie O'Donnell. Historic figures with the name Parker. Dorothy Rothschild Parker was an American writer of short stories, poems, plays, screenplays and entertainment criticism, whose acerbic wit made her the doyenne of the sparkling, albeit alcohol-fueled, company at the Algonquin Round Table in New York in the Roaring Twenties. In her heyday, she wrote for Vogue, Vanity Fair, and The New Yorker, among others, and was a formidable theater critic, once describing Katharine Hepburn as running the gamut of emotions from A to B. She espoused liberal causes early on, including the Spanish Civil War, the Sacco and Vanzetti case, and civil liberties for African Americans, in fact, leaving her entire estate to the NAACP. She was blacklisted in Hollywood during the 1950s, which she considered an honor. Ms. Parker was married once to stockbroker Edwin Parker. Being half Jewish in an era of anti-Semitism, she joked that she did it only to change her name, and twice to Alan Campbell, a screenwriter and sometimes actor. Probably the love of her life was the writer, Charles MacArthur, but their affair ended disastrously. He went on to marry Helen Hayes, and she went on to her first suicide attempt. In her later years, Dorothy, who was childless, lived in a residential hotel in Manhattan with her pet dogs, and died alone of a heart attack. Her remains were unclaimed for 17 years. Finally the NAACP put them to rest in a memorial garden in their Baltimore headquarters. She had her share of sorrow in her life, but she certainly contributed to laughter in ours. Our favorite Parkerism? Asked to use a euro horticulture euro in a sentence, she replied, a euro you can lead a horticulture, but you can't a euro t make her think. A euro apocryphal? Maybe. Who cares a euro we believe it. Bonnie Parker was the celebrated girlfriend of Clyde Barrow, and with him and his gang, participated in a rampage of robbery and murder between 1931 and 1934. Born in Texas, Bonnie, her two siblings, and her widowed mother lived with her maternal grandparents. They were reasonably well off and Bonnie was a good student in school. Before her 16th birthday, however, she dropped out of school and married her boyfriend. The union was short-lived, though never officially dissolved, and Bonnie was working as a waitress when she met Clyde Barrow. She was immediately smitten with him and joined him and his gang without looking back. Without looking much forward, either. Bonnie was 24 years old when she and Clyde died together in a shootout by a police posse, and moved on into legend, helped in no small way by the 1967 portrayal of her by Faye Dunaway in the movie, Bonnie and Clyde. Charlie Parker was an extremely innovative jazz musician, both as a saxophonist and as a composer, and was an early creative force in the bebop movement. He played with such greats as Dizzy Gillespie and Miles Davis, who famously said, a euro you can tell the history of jazz in 4 words, Louis Armstrong. Charlie Parker. A euro. Born in Kansas City, Kansas, Charlie Parker always considered New York City his true home. In spite of his music-making genius and his early successes, a euro suffered the consequences of a lifelong heroin addiction, brought about by the introduction to morphine after a youthful automobile accident. Ultimately, this led to his untimely death at the age of 34. His recordings provide an oasis of bliss for his fans. Many of them were inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Charlie Parker's life is paid a poignant tribute in Clint Eastwood's 1988 film, A Euro.